What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding! Today's topic is the Chicago Bears game. If you like the video, if you like the channel, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Let's dive in. So, Chicago Bears do not impress me offensively at all. And here's why I say that. And I have a reason for saying that. Look at the scores. Versus Tampa Bay, they scored 20 points. Versus Indianapolis, they scored 11. Versus the Falcons, who we just beat, they scored 30 points. Against the Giants, the weakest team in the NFC, by the way, probably the entire league, they scored 17. And against Detroit, who have a very, very weak defense, 27. Now, that does not scare me at all. You're talking about a quarterback, Nick Foles, that is, as of right now this season, 72 for 113, 680 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Versus our Teddy Bridgewater, who is 130 for 177, 1,460 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. You tell me which quarterback's better. You tell me which one is better. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But let's keep on going. This Bears offense features Chicago's running game, which is 63 carries, 247 yards, and 1 touchdown. That is the leading running back that they have, David Montgomery. Versus Mike Davis, who has just come onto the scene with 46 carries, 220 yards, and a touchdown, almost matching what David Montgomery is putting up in almost as many carries. Maybe a little less. But then, Chicago's top wide receiver has 35 receptions, 421 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Versus Robbie Anderson, who has 36 receptions, 489 yards, and a touchdown. So, you tell me which offense is better. You tell me which one's better. Folks, it's not hard. It's not a hard decision at all. And the fact that they beat the Buccaneers, in my opinion, was a fluke. Now, the Bears' defense, on the other hand, is for real. This is a defense that held the Buccaneers to 19 points. This is a Buccaneers defense that held the Colts to 19 points. They held the Falcons to 26. They held the Giants to 13. They held the Detroit Lions to 23. Now, this game is going to be about touchdowns versus field goals. Why do I say that? Because we have to have at least 2 touchdowns versus their field goals to win this game. That's what I believe is going to happen. Now, if we do our job on defense, then it should hold them to field goals. They've been having trouble in the red zone. They've been having trouble in the field goal range. So, I feel like it's going to come down to touchdowns versus field goals. And we have the upper hand in that one. Because if you consider it, we have, as of right now, put up an average of 409 total yards for the year. 292 passing yards average, 117.8 average rushing per game. So, and we beat them on points per game, 24.4 versus the Bears 21.0. Points allowed per game, 20.0 versus our 23.6. Now, that 23.6 average right there is because of Todd Gurley and Tom Brady. Really. That was a massive chunk out of it. I will give some credit to Derek Carr. He did have a good day against us as well. But, the most massive chunk out of that is definitely Tom Brady and definitely Gurley. So, now I am starting to buy into the 10-win season that you guys are suggesting. I'm starting to buy into it. I'm starting to see it. It's starting to form. And I'll get into that video later on this week as to why I think that might be possible. But I'll wait till after the Bears game to throw that video down. So, let's take a look at our injuries for this game. We have Curtis Samuel who's questionable. Eli Apple who's questionable. Samuel has a knee injury. And Eli Apple is questionable, which is why he's second string right now. Until we know for sure. And the biggest injury out of all of them is KK Short is out for the season. Now, what does that mean for us? That means that our defensive tackles have to step up. Now, we are looking at a defensive tackle crew that consists of Derek Brown, Bravion Roy, Zach Kerr, Woodrow Hamilton, and KK Short. KK Short is now out for the year, so according to Matt Rule, he says that Zach Kerr will start at left defensive tackle and Woodrow Hamilton will get some snaps. So, I would assume Hamilton is going to get some snaps in this game coming up. Gross Matos is on the IR. And Jordan Mack is still out at middle linebacker. So, will we see Cornelder for more snaps? We'll see. So let's go into the numbers right now of where we're sitting at after 5 games. Teddy Bridgewater is now sitting at number 6 in yards. He is now sitting at number 1 in completions. Actually, number 5 in completions, my bad. Completion percentage. He is sitting at number 1 with 73.4. And yards per game, Teddy is sitting at number 6. So, all that in mind, I think it's time to start showing Teddy as not just a backup anymore, not just as somebody you throw on your team just to take over while your star quarterback that's getting paid millions and millions of dollars is on the mend. No. Teddy has now evolved into a starter. And not just any starter, a top grade starter, in my opinion, in this year. Running backs wise, we are looking at Mike Davis, and he is at 30th in total yards so far. In average, let's see where he is. You're looking at 16th in average yards per play. So, now we'll go into receiving, and you've got Robbie Anderson at number 4 in total yards. You've got Robbie Anderson is what position? Well, we got DJ Moore in average yards per play at 13th. And I'm looking and I don't see him. 43rd. Okay, so that's still respectable. Alright, so let me tell you what quarterbacks are ahead of Teddy Bridgewater at this point. Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, who has surprisingly come out of nowhere and gotten 1,500 yards, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Matt Ryan, with Deshaun Watson close behind him. Derek Carr, who we played against, is behind him. Then you've got Tom Brady in 10th in yards. Now, I mean, that's good company right there. Completion percentage. You got Derek Carr in 2nd, Russell Wilson in 3rd, Jared Goff in 4th, Drew Brees in 5th. So, this is not a joke, folks. Teddy is up and up right now. And you have to show some respect to this man's name. You got to show some love to this man's name right now. The two ways that we can lose to the Bears are, number 1, turnovers. Number 2 is not getting it done on defense and allowing touchdowns. So those are the two ways that I see this game going south. Or our 3rd and short situation comes back and we only get field goals for a good chunk of the game, which will happen. But if we can get 2 touchdowns, hopefully 3, that should put us on the board and win the game for us. So, that being said, this can be a trap game. I see Minnesota as a trap game as well coming up, because they actually put up a really good fight against the Saints. So I see those 2 games as trap games for the moment. So if we get the win here, it's going to be a 4-game win streak. Going into Green Bay, we will be playing overconfident and a little bit over our heads. And I think Green Bay will probably take that game coming up. But, with our schedule being what it is, I see a potential tight game against the Saints coming up on the 25th. I really, really do. We've got that 4-game win streak. Once we get it against the Bears, go into the Saints game, play them tough, get a win against the Falcons again. We battle the Chiefs for a tough game, and possibly lose. We get that win against the Buccaneers finally. You get a win against the Lions. Vikings is a trap game, 50-50. Broncos will be a win. Packers game in Lambeau Field will be a loss. Because it's Lambeau Field, we have terrible record in Lambeau Field. Win against Washington, and a possible split with the Saints. No telling what's going to happen in those Saints games, so we'll see what happens. But we are looking at 10 wins. I can see it on the horizon. So get excited, Panthers fans, but not too excited. We'll see what happens. But let's take it one game at a time. Let's focus on the Bears first. Keep pounding.